we've heard about copy, but we also heard that lists are the most important part of any marketing campaign. In the old days, you know, when we talked about lists, we talked about list selection for direct mail. Today, basically, we talk about media, buying media. So it doesn't matter which channel of marketing you're using. What's important is that you know that you're going to the right audience. Because we know that great copy going to the wrong list are useless. Great copy is useless if it doesn't hit the right people. And I can tell you the story that for about 6.5 years, I worked with a great copywriter. I worked with Clayton Makepeace exclusively. But before I got to the company that Clayton was writing for, he was writing some great copy. They were mailing about 10,000 pieces a month. And for Clayton, that wasn't acceptable. So he said to the owner of the company, if you don't bring somebody in here who knows how to do list selection, I'm leaving. So I came to this company, and within about 3 months, we were mailing 1 million pieces a month. It's the same copy. Now we're mailing 1 million pieces. 3 months later, we're mailing 2 million pieces of copy. That year, we mailed 20 million pieces of direct mail for one product with 100% ROI. So it was always Clayton writing this great copy. But because they didn't understand how to do lists and how to test lists and how to break down lists, they weren't able to get it out there. So a great copywriter knows that. But you need to understand that because people spend so much time on copy, they forget about the lists. And so you need to have somebody in your organization who knows how to buy media. And in the next session, David Cross, Brian Edmondson, and I are going to go really through that in detail.
Yeah, that's a very important point because I want to tie it into what I said before. I said something that was a little bit wrong. I said, you know, because list selection tends to be kind of routine or something. But in fact, list selection is a very creative area. But it's because that people on the copy side of a business like us think of it as routine and make that mistake that that this kind of thing can happen. Our business isn't going well, and we don't know. It's because we don't have an expert selecting lists. So it really, Mary Ellen just explained how she created a 20-to-1 increase. I said at the very most, what I've ever seen is a 4-to-1 increase from copy. So that's why list really is, you know, the most important thing you can do, getting your list right.
So first you need to understand there are 2 categories of lists. You have your in-house list and your outhouse or outside list. And your outhouse list. So your house list basically are names, especially in the e-world, are names that you have permission to market to. So that's the list you want to build. That's very important. You need to build your in-house list. Your outside list, of course, are names you don't really have permission to market to yet, but they've agreed to receive third-party advertising. Within your house list, there are 3 categories. The first one are the hot leads. These are people who have opted in to receive emails from you, but they haven't purchased from you yet. You have your buyers, of course, who have purchased from you, and then you have your multi-buyers. And these are people who have purchased multiple products from you. So when we talk about that buying frenzy, that when you have a buyer, when is the best time to go back to them to make them a multi-buyer? Immediately. You know, that's why when you go out and you rent media, that you have selects, and you can have 30-day hotline buyers. These are people who have purchased in the last 30 days. And why are they more expensive? Because they're more likely to buy again. They're in that frenzy, that buying frenzy. So
this is a very important point. Even though you know it, you've heard it, you will find that you and even the people that work for you, your intuition will keep going against it. You'll think, yes. Why are those names more expensive? Because they're in a frenzy. They want to buy more. You've just sold them something. You feel like I should leave them alone. When is the best time to sell somebody a new pair of shoes? Before he rings up, right after he's bought one pair. And if you've been to a shoe store, you know that. The great salesman will say, you know what would look real? This is a beautiful pair of shoes. You've got great taste. I want to show you another pair of loafers that I think you're really going to like. And if you're in that mood, you're going to end up with 2 or 3 pairs of shoes, not to mention shoe horns and this and that. So the people that work for you are going to try to tell you to leave your customers alone after they bought something for a while, almost as if selling isn't good. Point that Mary Ellen made before. Selling is good. That's what they want from us. They want to keep buying things.
I have rarely left a shoe store with one pair of shoes. Rarely. And I love it. I mean, you know, you feel good. You feel much better after 2 or 3 pair than you do with one. So, but your objective here, of course, is to turn your hot leads into buyers, your buyers into multi-buyers, and your multi-buyers into advocates for you. I mean, this is a multi-channel world that, you know, your customers should be your greatest advertisers. And you're going to do this, you're going to get them to do that by continually giving them value and over-delivering on your promises. And the last category in your house list, of course, are canceled and expires. And these are people who are former customers or they have not renewed their product. But just because they haven't renewed or they've canceled, don't give up on them. They're still a good list, and you should go back to them. On your outside list, you've got your hot prospects, and these are people who have purchased a similar product from yours from a competitor. So again, if you're in the health newsletter industry, and these are people who have bought a different alternative health newsletter. You have good prospects, which are people who have purchased a related product from you from a competitor. So it's not exactly the same, but it's related. And then you have okay prospects, which basically consist of compiled lists. Now, and again, this is a big mistake people make. They see compiled lists are much cheaper to rent, so they tend to use them. Don't use them. Basically, compiled lists are not buyers most of the time. They're people who have filled out a survey or meet a certain criteria. And a lot of people use them for the B2B world or even for controlled circulation. But that should really be very low on your list. Don't be fooled by a media a list broker or a media broker saying, try this list, you know, it's compiled, right. It's only $20 1,000. You don't want to go there. Right. Start out with buyers, and then you expand from there.